I'm going live.
I'm not. I removed myself from getting too emotional about it, because I used to get really emotional when they would lose, and I just decided not to do that anymore. So I've removed myself from getting emotional about it, and I figure this is just preparatory for the season starting in a couple weeks anyway. So let's get all that garbage out of the system now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I went to my daughter's high school volleyball parent meeting yesterday, and we'll see how season lasts. They're doing tracking on us. You get 4 tickets as a student per player and only 4 people in the gym per player. And you get a wristband or a name tag, and you have to sign a form to turn in so that they know when or how or if someone's sick and who is exposed. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it. I miss the season. I miss the volleyball. It'll be interesting. It's going to be quiet in the gyms. The energy is just not going to be the same. But I'm excited. There's a lot of schools that aren't opening their gyms. So a lot of the other schools are coming over to our school to actually compete and play volleyball. So we'll see.
Interesting.
At least they're going, right?
Yeah.
At least they're playing. Soccer, I guess, is probably better being an outdoor sport, huh?
Probably. However, you say that, and most of the tournaments have honestly been canceled this summer. Yeah. And so there is one tournament going on this week that we're in, but we had 3 other tournaments lined up, and every one of them canceled. So now part of that is the tournaments that were being held in Salt Lake, they canceled. This one is in Utah County. Utah County was okay with it. Park City canceled. Colorado canceled. So yeah, it's just interesting. But I'm glad they were able to at least get one in.
Yeah.
So
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Andrea. I'm glad you guys joined us and said hello.
And hold on, Sarah. We need to connect today. That is my fault. I know. And we were going to try and get together yesterday, and then I was at a soccer game. Let's talk after this. In fact, I am going to pull up my calendar. I just want to double check. Okay, look at this. When we finish at 11 o'clock, I am golden. Let's talk.
Oh, look at you. Look at you go.
Totally my fault, too. Because she sends me a Facebook message saying, hey, let's connect. I want to talk. And my day was crazy the other day, so I called her up when I was at soccer practice. And honestly, I was just watching the practice, so I had plenty of time. But then, of course, she was busy with her night stuff, and we just haven't connected yet. So anyway, 11 o'clock.
I get it. Busy people. This industry is definitely not slowing down. I like Justin's comment that it was nice not having CWS in Omaha this year. Peaceful nights without the crazy party goers.
Right.
Soccer brings a party crowd for sure.
Yeah. Sure. So, let's Matt. There's a little bit of a delay. Sorry.
You're okay.
I was going to ask what should we talk a little? We don't have a guest today. Maybe. Well, we might have one showing up in about 15 minutes or so. We're still waiting to hear back. So in the meantime, let's talk about some of the stuff that you and I are both working on. What do you think?
Yes. Yeah, you first, because I always get excited about this. I always tell people I enjoy having time to just talk to you and hear what you're working on. You've got big stuff coming.
Yeah, so a couple things that I'm working on right now is more so on the payment side, because as we know, payments is an issue. It is across the board in this space. There are solutions coming out, better solutions, I believe, and future payment systems that are coming out. So I'm working with the group right now to finalize a deal to start launching this out, where we could do kratom, CBD, cannabis, MMJ, the whole works. Even any of the other natural remedies, let's say like kava and some of these others, we would be able to do it on this platform. Really what the only difference is, it's all on the back end. There's a tokenization system in there. And then there is also a verification that the consumer has to do on it. But with that being said, it does open up for the processing, and that's important. So I'm working on trying to finalize that right now. That will be huge because that way, somebody that's e-commerce, somebody that is retail, we're not going to have to go through some of the regular stipulations that are having to be done right now, which makes it more difficult. They are bringing this on in phases, and so we are starting with e-commerce, and then shortly we will be able to add the retail side into it. So I've got that being done right now. Also, we're about to launch where somebody could pay with crypto payments if they want. So for anybody out there that's holding any Ethereum, Light Dash, Bitcoin, whatever, this platform that we are finalizing and integrating, you would be able to provide that as an option. The other cool thing is if somebody is retail, we could put an ATM in their location, or we could actually, depending on what brand of ATM they have, we can plug in our software. So now if somebody does want to go cash, they could have their ATM in there so that they can make some transaction fee revenue. Plus, people would actually be able to go into those and convert any of their crypto into cash on the spot. And the reason I'm looking at these ATMs and these crypto payments is I really believe that is going to be the future of payments in many ways. Is it going to replace Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express? No. Is it going to replace electronic bank transfers? No. But what are we seeing happening right now? A lot of people are wanting to shift over to Venmo. A lot of people are looking at, I'm holding all of this crypto. How can I pay for different things using it? Also, if I'm a business, how do I accept payments from people that are holding this so that I don't have to deal with the whole banking situation, especially until all this gets approved and the government finally legalizes this. So how do we do this? So that is a bridge to get there, but I firmly believe that crypto is not going away. Blockchain is our future. Crypto just happens to be the way that there's an exchange on blockchain. There's a lot of technologies right now being done on blockchain, as we all know. And so if looking at blockchain, the best way to look at this is previously what would happen is everybody would have a multiple sites where they had servers, right? So they created redundancy so that all those servers were talking to each other, right? Blockchain is that, except on a global scale. So now you're going to have thousands of touch points, all creating redundancy, all making sure that any data that is coming through is traceable, tracked, and recorded on multiple levels. And so it's going to help with fraud. It's going to help verify transactions. It's going to help on so many levels. And that's why a lot of companies are now building their systems on the blockchain technologies. And so if that is being done, payments are coming in. Visa has already come out saying that they're building out their crypto payment system. Others are going to be following. So that is a future. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get ahead of the game here, and I'm putting these technologies in place. So one of the solutions that I'm about to launch, somebody would be able to have their own wallet. So then they could pay, whether it's retail or e-commerce, they would be able to actually pay through their wallet, where they could pay through their Venmo because they can sync their Venmo account to it. They can sync their crypto payments, their Visa, MasterCard, their bank, all of it. So they would have one big wallet that they could use to pay for anything on. And so those are some of the things that I'm working on right now. to try and improve on the payment side of things. And honestly, that's kept me busy. I've been really pushing this for the last several weeks, had a lot of meetings on it, and just trying to get this over the finish line so that I can offer it out to everybody. But that's a big deal on what I've been working on recently. And mostly because of this space, the cannabis space, to really service it better and just really provide unique solutions for it, because that's kind of what this space is. This space is moving so fast with technologies. I want to keep up on the payment side and the financial side. So
yeah. Okay, so I didn't understand blockchain very well until just recently. I always thought blockchain was the payment system or the way to pay, and somebody described it and kind of broke it down. It's like the internet, and blockchain is like the internet, and the apps or the Bitcoin is like the apps. All these different options are like the apps. And using blockchain, it's way more secure. You can't go in and edit or change things without it being recognized or recorded and known who was in it last. And so it's a lot more secure when it comes to any financial payments or tracking locally or internationally, right? And so I agree with you. I didn't understand it in the beginning. And to be honest, it's kind of scary because it's not a tangible dollar, right? But really, our dollar is no longer worth a dollar. It looks like a dollar, it spends like a dollar still, but it's not the same. And it's fluctuated so much with this change that I do see on a national and global level.
And let's be honest, no matter what side of politics you're on, globalization is occurring at a fast rate. We know that. We've been seeing that for the last couple decades. Globalization is coming. It is here. And it's only a matter of time for the U.S. to catch up with what's going on with the rest of the world. You can go into Europe, you can go into China, you can go into India, you can already pay through crypto payments on the blockchain, right? That's been going on for years. The U.S. is just really slow to adopt this. But what is happening now is it's putting everybody globally on the same playing field and now creating different currencies and technologies so everybody can play together. Is really what it's doing. And then for those opportunistics, because it is very early, it's a money grab right now too, especially with Bitcoin going up. And I'm not selling Bitcoin here. I'm not selling the other cryptos, but where I think it's going, where I'm seeing it going, and where I'm talking to people that are heavily involved in the space, what they say this is happening, it's a money grab. So
okay, so I've got a question because I don't understand. Where do you see the transition going, and where, like somebody said in one of our comments, in Las Vegas, retailers have ATMs in their stores to facilitate cash transactions. Like, we see that as a convenience to the store themselves, right? They're now making money, or it doesn't cost them anything. On Bitcoin, what's the transaction fee typically compared to an ATM, and what's the availability then? Does that make sense?
So that's a great question. Really, the transaction fee is the same. If you were to go pull cash out off of your bank card, you're going to pay, depending on your location, you're going to pay probably $3 to $5, on that transaction. It's going to be the exact same on the crypto side. One of the challenges that it's always been on the crypto side, and the reason that crypto payments has been slower to come into play, is the transaction time can take quite a while, right? So it could take 30 minutes, it could take an hour for that really to clear on the back end when a transaction is done. And so the hard part about bringing that into the payment ecosystem is, as we know, if we use our credit card or a debit card, that transaction is going to take, 5 to 10 seconds usually, right? Where on a crypto side, if it's taking 30 minutes to run that transaction, well, nobody's going to want to sit at the store for 30 minutes and wait to make sure that clears. They finally got the technologies in place now to make that happen quicker. So like that comment in the ATMs, you plug the software into the ATM. They use what's already there, depending on the model of ATM and what software they're running. They can use the current existing ATM. We plug in this software, and now somebody can go and pull their crypto out real time now. So now there isn't a delay. In fact, it takes just the same amount of time that it does your debit card to pull money out. And so the technologies have finally caught up and are here. And so that is an option now for people.
I like this comment too. Blockchain's great for intangible goods like currency, but not so much for tangible goods. I don't know why.
Well, it's the volatility of the price points, right? As we know, Bitcoin has been all over the place. And that's where other companies have come in to try and create their own crypto, to try and create some consistency there. Because here's what makes it a little difficult. And this is why, to me, the ATMs make a little bit more sense. But at the same time, it depends on the price of the crypto at the time of transaction. Where right now, Bitcoin is sitting, I don't know, between 11 and 12,000 a coin, right? 3-4 months ago, we were down around 5 or 6. So there's that big swing. And so what happens is when you're trying to sell a tangible good, the amount that you're going to pay in your crypto today might be very different from tomorrow, right? But now look at it on a business standpoint, because if somebody buys a product with crypto today, and if that business owner truly believes crypto is going to go on the rise, like everything is showing, and if you go to blockchain.com, it's all public information. It's all there. You can see the trends. You can see the data. You can see where everything is going. You can look at the historical data and see what's happened with Bitcoin the last 2 halvings, and you can see that it's on track to do the same projections that it did before. So if you're a business owner now and you're saying, I do believe in this crypto, in cryptocurrencies, I do believe in where it's going in the future. Now I'm going to sell a product for market value of what Bitcoin is now. Now I have the option to save my Bitcoin or convert it into fiat money, right? Or cash. If I decide to hold some, then I can capitalize on the run that's about to happen. And, that is my opinion. I know there's probably people on here that don't believe Bitcoin's going to go anywhere. It might just crash and burn. That's not my opinion. If that's your opinion, crypto payments is not a solution for you, right? But if you're a person that does believe crypto payments and crypto is going to go to where projections are showing, that's why I say it's a money grab. It's a land grab right now for the next probably couple years until it stabilizes. What I do believe is going to happen is within the next couple years, these cryptocurrencies are going to stabilize. I do believe there are going to be some cryptos that come on board that will truly be stable enough, some stable coins, so that people can actually use it for tangible goods, like what Justin was saying. There's banks that are coming in creating their own cryptos now to create that standard, I guess you could say, in payments, and create that stabilization. Bitcoin, yeah, we know it's not stable, but it is the gold of crypto right now. And that's why I base everything off of where Bitcoin is going, because when you watch what happens, when Bitcoin is on the rise, all the altcoins go up, right? It's a gold standard right now. So is Bitcoin going to be the future of payments? I honestly don't believe it will. I really don't believe it will. It will have a place in it, but it won't be the standard. I think there's going to be some others that are coming on board, some that are already here, that are going to create some market value and some stabilization, and that's going to be the future of payments. I just talk Bitcoin right now because it's the gold standard. It's the easiest to talk about, and everybody knows that one. And we can see what's happening with it. So,
Well, and I think that with the instability in the economy now, people are more willing to take a jump and try something new. And the lack of security they have in their investments or in their dollar bill, I think opens the door even more, just like in the cannabis and hemp industry. I mean, this is turning point for a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, I think you've got a couple things. Number one, you've got the instability of the market, but we also have this incredible group of individuals called the millennials. And then what's the one that's after millennials? What is that generation called? I can't remember.
Is it Generation Z?
Yes.
Or something?
The millennials, in my opinion, are going to drive globalization further. They are going to drive crypto. One interesting thing is where I see ATMs that have crypto in them, or crypto ATMs, where are they? I see them near college campuses. I see them where the millennials are, because the millennials are heavily involved in technology and anything that they see as the future, they are heavily involved in it. That's why I find a lot of millennials, when I talk to them, they love the idea of crypto. But I talk to people my age, most of them are like, nope, I will not touch it. I don't think it is the future. I don't want anything to do with it. Well, I remember at one time, my grandparents saying, I will never use a credit card. I will only use checks and cash, because now I can balance my checkbook, right? How many people balance a checkbook? How many people actually write checks on a regular basis? Most people don't go to the grocery store and write a check anymore, right? And so just looking at that comparison, where our grandparents were 20, 30 years ago with checkbooks and debit credit cards, we are in that same position now with crypto payments and our debit and credit cards. My opinion, that is the future. Dwayne, so glad to have you on again, because honestly, I was drying out, and we've talked about
good morning
quite a while. So glad to have you on.
Hey, good to be back.
I had to add him when he raised his hand about who writes checks.
Well, there's
I saw that.
It's actually, you said who balances a checkbook. I still balance. I watch my account statement, but I don't think I've written a check. Gosh, it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
So, especially with online banking, it's so simple.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, they don't teach cursive. They don't teach how to fill out a check. My kids would not have a clue.
And you have to have a calculator to take a math class now. Rather than, you can't bring a calculator. Exactly. So fun. So
well, good. Dwayne, glad to have you back. How are you?
I'm doing well. Things are starting to pick up again in the printing business. And we're just hopeful for the future. I mean, COVID really took a hit on us, but out of all the things that we're doing the very, very most, it's packaging. That our department, we used to have like a 10-day turnaround. That's bumped now to 15 days, unfortunately. Wow. So we're looking at extra equipment, and I just got a huge order today for a whole bunch of boxes, and it's starting to take off in general. So printing's been a profession since the early 1700s, 1600s, when Gutenberg invented the first printing press. We're here to stay. So how can I help today? What do we want to talk about?
I was going to say that, Dwayne. I was going to say the same thing. The good thing about your industry is it's stable. It's here to stay. Yeah. And even for me, it's like, even talking about printing, I would much rather read something in print than even on my mobile device. I'm not a mobile reader. I'm not a audio reader. I love a physical book. I love a physical magazine to read.
I do marketing funnels. Okay, that's one of the things that I do, and I talked a little bit about Mandi about this. And out of all the funnels that are out there, my favorite is Russell Brunson's ClickFunnels. Maybe you guys have used them. They're extremely powerful. Love them to death. but he has written 3 books, actually 4 now, and people love him. I'd rather read his physical book, have it in my hands, just like what you're saying, than reading it online any day. There's just something about the power of print. And there's study after study after study that even though we have Kindles and all these different types of things with our electronic devices, people still would rather have something in hand than if they're actually going to do a long-term reading. If it's a newspaper or an article, of course, social media dominates. But
I was just about to say that too, because you don't see newspaper prints anymore. You don't see boys and girls running around at 4 o'clock in the morning with their parents driving them, throwing newspapers on your doorsteps anymore, right?
No.
Because for something like that, because our attention span is so short, we like going into like our news app and just scrolling through real quick, seeing the highlights. If it catches our attention, we'll click on it. And even at that, I'll usually read the first couple paragraphs, and if I'm interested, I'll read more. If not, I go to the next one, And I think that's why on a newspaper side and even a magazine side, I think that's why. But a physical book, I don't know how you can replace that.
I totally agree. I remember, 20 years ago, doing all the types of marketing that we did. We knew that the attention span was dropping rapidly, and we panicked when it went from 30 seconds down to about 20 to 15. And today, the industry reports are saying that you have about 6 to 7 seconds to capture their attention. And if you don't do it that quickly, they're gone.
They're gone.
So you got to have some type of hook, some type of story that creates the emotion. And then, of course, how good your offer.
Yeah.
And so you go from there.
Okay.
Yep.
So I've been enlightened a little bit over this last month as I've really educated myself or surrounded myself, ironically, with people that are even more passionate about educating our rural communities. And more, I believe print and radio, the original ways of educating people or sharing media, it's coming back, or it's going to be more strong. And I say this because think about this. If we've censored social media and Facebook, and that's how we're giving all of our information out to our rural communities about who they're electing and who they're voting in, and best practices, and that most affects them when we talk big business, or when we talk supply chains, right?
Unfortunately.
Anymore, or if Facebook, say for example, or any of these media channels, right, Twitter, any of these are censoring media, how are we getting news to our rural communities without press and print? And even more, so I again go back to, I used to go to, hey, all of our media needs to come from our cell phone, or this fast 7-second catch, right, to grab somebody's attention. And I believe that still to be true, but I believe that there's a huge demographic that we're missing, especially in the health and wellness industry, when we're educating, or in the hemp and cannabis industry, when we're educating our rural communities about what's to come and what our capabilities are and what we're doing, or the health benefits to any of this CBD or CBH or CBN or whatever the new craze is. I think it's something to be considered, even down to mailers and drip campaigns that are not social media, because our big buyers and our big influencers are going to come from, what about our tribes that don't have internet? And we can't forget that there are a lot of areas that, even living in rural areas like Roosevelt and Duchesne, do not have the same internet privileges that we do out here.
Speeds that we do.
Yeah. And they really do rely on their press and their small media. And so, I don't know, I'm just giving a plug. I used to be.
No, it's so, the online media is extremely influenced. And, I remember a story, on how things get twisted. And I forget who told it. It might have been back in the days of C.S. Lewis or Napoleon Hill, but he talked about the story of how this captain, he had one of his sailors. His sailor was one of the most sober, never touched a drop. Okay, never touched alcohol. Well, he got tricked into doing something, and he drank something on the ship, and he got drunk, and so he was derelict of duty. And so the captain wrote in the ship's log, the sailor was drunk tonight. Okay, and well, he said the sailor was drunk again tonight, which wasn't an actual type of story. Until the very next time, it became the sailor's opportunity to write in the captain's log. And the only thing that he wrote was, the captain was sober tonight. Now, if you pay attention to that, if you read the captain was sober tonight, that could be taken and misconstrued in many different ways. Was he always sober? Was he always drunk? And so that's why social media can be tough. And that's another reason why the power of print can be extremely helpful, because then what's happening is what you're writing to your audience cannot be misconstrued. And whereas social media, you know, I know so many people that have done so many good things, big name television and video producers who are doing things to help battle some of the evils in the world, such as all the human trafficking that's going on. He actually created a full-blown feature-length movie that was going crazy on Amazon. It was going crazy. I mean, this is a guy who was one of the main producers for the film with Denzel Washington. Remember the Titans? He did Stranger Things. He did lots of things. He's an amazing man. And he created this whole movie about human trafficking. And it was a top seller. It was going crazy. The reviews were fantastic. He was shut down last night by Amazon.
Wow.
Well, this goes back to our censored media. These are topics that need to be talked about and that are being talked about and that we should all be concerned about. And this is where I go back to original print and media and the value that I see even more in, if we're educating, we as businesses in the cannabis and hemp industry are educating or looking to spread the word about the value to hemp or cannabis medically or globally, whatever your reason is, right? That don't forget the large community that doesn't have access to social media and the change in what's happening in our freedom of speech and what's really being monitored and censored. You know, our videos are starting to get seen a little bit, and I know this because every once in a while we get trolled, and it's kind of a compliment, to be honest with you.
Well, welcome to the real world there.
Yeah, just like what happens with OUR's video. I'm assuming that's the video you're talking about.
I think so.
With their video that they've published, you know, this is a real topic that our Hollywood has suppressed, our Hollywood media has suppressed for a long time, our celebrities. And so as it comes out, just like cannabis and hemp, you know, at one time was squashed, these are issues that need to be addressed, right? Or that are at the top of mind. And even more so, it goes back to, you know, we were originally founded with, you know, newspapers and radio, and those again are going back to ways that we're communicating, and they're the most valuable.
I agree. I mean, hemp is so much more than just CBD oils and topicals and creams. You know, it was the best making material for rope back in the, you know, when they actually sailed, you know, and they used wind sails and everything like that. It had it is one of the most amazing God-given products on the planet, and there's so many different uses for it. And if we use it in the way that I think it was truly intended, it can bless the lives of everybody who's ever walked the face of the earth. So.
Okay, so it's packaging. I've had a lot of people since you've been on say, I want my hemp made out of, or my packaging done, or we're rebranding and we are looking for hemp packaging. And I said, oh my God, I know a guy. Their biggest concern, again, is still competitive pricing, right? Being able to make it competitive. Can you kind of go over what's available and how do people get in touch with you?
The very best and easiest way to get in touch with me, of course, is to call me. And actually, let me hurry in. Do you still have that information, Ryan, from last time?
If you'll just say it, I'll share it right now.
It's email me, dwayne.scadlock@pz.com. And PZ is spelled PECZUH. I'll go ahead and do this really quick. Sorry.
You're okay.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to put that. And then, of course, my phone number at 801-598-4554. That's the best way to reach me. I did try to start to put together my print sales guy site, but I've been so preoccupied with other things that were a bigger priority that I haven't done that yet. So some of the things that are happening and in my life right now, but I will be finishing that soon, I promise. And that will make that's an informative site that will cover specific things about CBD packaging. What was that, Mandy?
Repeat your phone number for me. 801-598-4554. Okay, it's shared.
So yeah, if people want to reach out to me that way, I'm constantly on the phone. So if I don't answer, please leave a message. Please, that is my mobile number. Please shoot me a text. Shoot me an email. You can find me on Facebook too. Just Dwayne Scadlock, as you see it spelled on the screen. You can shoot me a Facebook Messenger, and I will respond as quickly as possible. But some of the things that are fun, that is really starting to take off, is people are looking for sustainable options. And Mohawk, like we talked about last time, they came out with a paper called Renewal. And these papers, let me grab it really quick here. They did 3 materials that are selling really well. And it isn't 100%, but it has the most that's in there. And they made one out of straw. They made one out of recycled cotton. And most importantly, that we're all interested in, hemp. They have a paper made out of hemp. And so they have basically 3 colors right now. And here they are, that you can see them. And you can do regular just printing if you want flyers or brochures or things like that. Or if you want to go to a thicker cardstock like this, we can actually make your boxes for your CBD oils, your topicals, your gummy, bottles, whatever that you have, whatever type of container that you have, we can do all of this and put it all together. And in terms of pricing, our minimum order quantity is only 250. Okay. And the reason being is, I think the last time we talked, we were in the process of acquiring a new digital press. And this new digital press allows us to print short run, lower quantities, and we can actually save you money if you're just a beginner. Okay, so if you're just starting out in the CBD industry and want to start branding and doing those types of things, you can get away with as little as 250 boxes. Okay, and we'll even allow you to gang those. So if you have, like, for example, 3 different CBD oils, and you want 125 of each, so to say, we'll run that all together at the same time to hit your 250. So that could help you out that way too. But if you're well established, like some of the big accounts that we do, and they're printing, 25, 30, even up to 100,000 boxes a month, we can handle all that too. And so, and I'm happy to give tours of our facility. We are located here in Utah. We actually have 3 facilities in Utah. So depending on where you're at, if you want to come and see how boxes are made, I've made this offer to both Mandy and Ryan and John, and to come down and tour. It's very educational and it's fun. And we'll even treat you to lunch. It's just one of the things that we do. And yeah. So we'll cater in lunch and show you around on how to do this. We'll try to be as discreet as possible, because we do a lot of packaging for a lot of different CBD companies. Okay, and so we are very cautious in making sure that people don't see, well, I mean, you're going to see their designs anyway. You go to your local CBD store, you just go online, you're going to see what their packaging looks like. But we don't allow any of that to leave the building, so to say. So those are just some of the things that we're very cautious and concerned about. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So I got a question for you.
What was that?
I've got a question for you.
Sure.
I've got a small magazine. Can you print that magazine on hemp paper in a gloss?
Absolutely. Not the hemp paper is, because it's a fiber. It's an uncoated, so there's no gloss. There's no gloss to it. In terms of the magazine, it would be like an uncoated paper that runs through your copy machine, but a little bit thicker. But we do a lot of that type of stuff for a lot of sustainable marketing type of companies. And you can still make it full color. It just doesn't have that gloss and shine to it.
Sure.
So that's what we call the difference between a coated paper versus an uncoated. And of course, the coated papers have the gloss, or it used to be called dull, but now they've changed it to more fancy names like silk and satin instead of dull or matte. And, but you know, if you go to a photo studio and you ask, do you want it glossy prints or matte prints? You know, consider it the same type of effect. So, but yeah, magazines we do all day long. A matter of fact, I didn't you guys do something with Nugent magazine not too long ago? Was it you guys? Okay, one of our customers did, and that's a magazine that we print regularly.
Yeah,
so we do that all the time.
Kate's awesome. Kate and Adam.
Yeah. Oh, you know Kate. Okay. All right.
I saw something on here. Do you know if the paper mill is buying stocks, or if there's a place where we can connect them so that some of our growers may be able to sell their actual fiber stocks into the industry or into their mill? Do you know anything?
I don't know if they would do that. How it works is mills work with paper companies. And so you would need to buy, if you want to buy the raw paper, you would need to contact your local paper company. And the one that is selling it here in Utah is Spicer's Paper. So if you want, give me a call. I'll get you in touch with my paper rep. And then if you just want to buy the paper outright, yeah, I'm sure he'd be happy to sell you the paper. And you can get it in different sizes. What was that?
I'm actually asking on the other side, is there a way for us to connect with the mill so that we can see about, I'm curious who or where their stocks are being milled, or their hemp or their cotton, if it's local hemp or if it's hemp, you know, where is the mill that's actually making the paper, getting their production, having their production?
It's the Mohawk mill, okay? And they have 3 or 4 all over the United States, I believe. I can find out for you which one is doing it. Actually, you know what? Hold on. There was something. I need to grab my eyes here because I can't see it. There was, they actually created a website about it. And if I can find that, oh, no. Okay, hold on just a minute. Let me see if I can find it really quick.
Yeah, I'm curious. I would love to see or learn more, a little bit more about the process and that supply chain, because I know that a lot of these guys that have gone in and invested and started producing, you know, like a paper mill or a textile facility, or anybody developing construction materials out of hemp, or manufacturing construction materials out of hemp, have had a hard time finding fiber to supply their mill. And so I would love to help facilitate that for, you know, being inside the United States. If they're, I'm just curious on what that looks like and how we can help.
Yeah, I sent you the private message of a website, okay? And it talks about the Mohawk renewal and the hemp story and everything of that nature. I don't know if they're going to go into it, but you know, it shows that it's made with 30% hemp fiber. And this is pretty significant if you understand how paper's made, because most of the time, any type of fiber that is recyclable or brought into normal wood pulp is usually 10%. So this is pretty amazing that they bumped it up. They tripled the amount and to get the paper. And I'm not sure where the actual mill is, but if you go to that site and you log into it and you scroll down on the products, you'll see something on the left-hand side called the story of hemp. Click on that and you will be able to see all about how they make this particular product, which is starting to really take off in the CBD industry. And so that's, you know, as with any type of marketing experience, those who are first become the players. And so if you are interested in getting new packaging in hemp, and you want to make that a part of your marketing experience, I think that would be a great story for your marketing. So just a thought that's in there. And you know, marketing, print as a passion, marketing's the other passion, because I do have that strong background. I was a marketing guy before I became a sales guy. And I love to try to help figure out ways to create better packaging, to create different ideas. I won't be your marketing department ever in any way, shape, or form, but I'm the type of guy that say, have you thought about this? And then they run with it. And I just try to create little sparks, so to say, and then let the creative geniuses go to work.
Well, let me tell you, I love the show for what we just talked about, wanting to express interest and having somebody, one of our listeners or viewers, share information about who to connect with. So those that are interested and looking into that, that's definitely where my passion is too, is connecting those dots. And as somebody else says all the time, fixing the plane while it's flying, right? Is how do we help provide that opportunity to be the first player, both on the manufacturing side and on the sales and distribution side. And I'll tell you, over the last few months, we've had a ton of outreach or a ton of interest in sustainable packaging, because the price is competitive now. It really is. We're not fighting double the price on fabrics and textiles.
Yeah. Now I will admit the price of the hemp paper is a lot more expensive. I thought it wasn't. It is more expensive. Okay. And what'll happen is when you reach out to me, what I'll do is, depending on what your product is, I will give you options. So we can show you, okay, you know, let's pick a recycled regular cardboard box that is sustainable, and we'll show you the difference between that and a hemp. But the trick is, you know, with anything, how do I say it? Paper, we print on big sheets that are up to 28 by 40 inches. Okay, so in other words, you could fit 8.5 by 11 sheets on this one sheet. So when you look at something that is maybe, let's say it's double the cost of a standard sheet, when you divide that cost by 8, okay, compared to the other one by 8, you're really only talking pennies more per box. So don't let you know, somebody say, well, you know, that's 2 or 3 times as much, scare you and not even take a look at the paper. Because what will happen is many times somebody will look at getting 250 boxes on a regular paper, and their box, you know, let's say those 250 boxes, I don't remember what they are, but let's say that it cost them $400 because it's such a low quantity. But yet if they went with the other paper, that cost might jump up to $500, because paper is only a certain portion of the printed process. The plates and the inks and the setups and all the design and everything like that. So the difference between it is minimal in terms of paper, especially when you can actually get a hemp paper and market that and saying, hey, you know, we have this is printed on, you know, hemp paper with a 30% hemp fiber inside of it. That's huge to a lot of people, and that could differentiate you in the market, especially now since if you're putting this on the shelf, if you're doing retail or you have your own store or online, pricing is all over the place and it's becoming more and more competitive, and you have to find ways to differentiate yourself.
So we can look at packaging right now, and everybody knows the symbol for recycled, right?
Yep.
Recycled paper. Is there a symbol yet for hemp paper?
It's recycled. Okay. No, there isn't one yet that I'm aware of. But good heavens, create your own, brand the sucker, you know. Yep. And if you can do that, that is one of the things that's the power of print, is to create a brand that people can see and touch and feel, and then if that becomes recognizable, then what happens is, it's like any type of logo in the world. You can look at certain logos. If you saw the Pepsi logo, you know exactly what it was if it didn't say Pepsi. You saw the AT&T logo, you know what it is without even that. That's just the power of it. Coca-Cola, of course, is spelled out, and stuff like that. But there's just so many logos that we instantly recognize. So a lot of fun.
For sure. Oh, that's good. And I like where you're going with that, because how do you differentiate yourself amongst, a competitive market, and little things like that can make a huge difference when you can start marketing that this is with hemp paper, completely, renewable, sustainable resource type paper. I was looking on their website real quick, and hemp is definitely one, but they also have a few other types of paper that they can do. That's all on sustainable resource.
Mohawk's one of the biggest mills in the country. So they make all sorts of different types of papers and packaging products and different things of that nature. So,
and I think that, no pun intended, but going green, I think that's still a big thing, but I agree. I'd be prideful if I had a product and I could say, this is also packaged in hemp paper. If I'm selling CBD, this is packaged in hemp paper.
Yep. So now you got a 100% hemp product, other than maybe the bottle, or the container.
Well, and soon you could get the bottle too if you really wanted to source it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of fun things that can be done, and different ways that things are being packaged that are very, friendly. And, paper got a bad rap for a while because people thought that was what was filling up the landfills. But paper is renewable. Paper is recyclable. Paper is a product that will fall apart and makes great compost. So, so paper is just an amazing, and that was what happened to media, like what you're talking about, Mandy. Somebody said something about paper, but actually the number one thing that's filling up our landfills today, electronics. Believe it or not, it's electronics. It's these things.
I am definitely partial to paper over plastics or electronics, but I'm even more partial to hemp over wood, right? Because the amount of oxygen or carbon footprint that is lost by a loss of trees, and the number of trees that are cut down. For some reason, my little grandbaby's hooked on the show Lorax. So every time I talk about this, I'm like, we really are living like,
and that's another thing that they talked about. There are actually more trees on the earth today because of the paper companies.
Oh, good.
Okay. So in terms of that, the paper companies own and manage forests. There's actually two different companies. One is the SFI, and I forget what they're called, but another one is called FSC, and they are an international watchdog, and it stands for Forest Stewardship Council, and we are an FSC certified printer. So if you want the FSC logo printed on your stuff, I'm not sure if this is an FSC paper or not. I will find out. But because of the FSC and these paper companies on board, there are more trees, and the carbon footprint has dropped significantly, and it's put a lot of these overseas companies that are going in and scalping the land, like what was happening in South America, China, Korea, those types of things. And these international paper companies are on board now, and so it's a big thing, and the printing industry is a big player in that. And so we are very, very earth conscious, so to say. So,
yeah.
Okay, I hate to do this. I have to run here in just a few minutes.
It's 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wow. Where did the time go?
So. But Dwayne, we appreciate you coming on again today with us. I know it's a little short notice, but love having you on. Love hearing what you're doing. And man, we got to go take a tour.
Hey,
yeah, I want to.
anytime.
I don't think Dwayne would actually talk to us again if we don't take a tour. So
no.
Let's schedule a tour.
You know, another possibility is we could set this up and do a tour live on your show if you want to do that.
There we
That's
go.
another option that we can do. We'll set it up. We'll show the equipment running. You can talk to people. You can ask questions to me live if you want. I'm happy to do whatever it takes to help these people in their businesses and get them off the ground and running.
I think that's a great idea, Mandy.
That's a passion.
On-site show.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dwayne. Have a great day, man.
You too. Good to talk to you again.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, Sarah. We'll see you later.
Mandy. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.